This
I need to share my
conference will
screen.
now be recorded.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
I need to share my screen.
Hello.
My
Okay.
screen. My screen.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let me do that. Yeah, I've made you presenter already, so I think. Is there anything I need to do to make you share the screen too?
Not certain. I think it usually just happens.
I think because I've made you presenter here.
No, I don't think so. I think I still the presenter.
Okay, I'm still the presenter. Okay.
Yes.
Let me try to. I'm trying to see how I can stop myself
No
from being the
problem.
presenter. So.
No problem. Take your time.
I'm trying to make it the presenter, but it's not working. I don't know why.
Okay.
Okay. I don't even think it should be this hard. Just like attendees. There are options on every attendee, and there's an option that says make presenter. So I'm making you the presenter, but it's not working. I don't know why. Uh,
Okay.
um, so Moye, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but I'm not the one typing. I think he's doing as typing. Hold on, let me just check. Okay, all my options to make you presenter are not working very well. I'm checking the website now, and yeah, the two options they have. I meant to check the screen tab, the screen sharing tab. I clicked on change presenter, and I'm clicking on your name now. It's not working. I'm also using the options, the drop down on your name to make it the presenter, and it's also not working. So let me see if I can reach out to Ireti now.
Maiwa,
Yes,
Maiwa,
I can hear you.
I think has a
Yes.
suggestion. Maybe you should try that. Like make somebody else
Okay.
the presenter. Let's see if that will work.
Okay. 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 Let me do that. Okay. I've tried to make Symbiat, but she's still not the presenter. Let me try to make someone else the presenter. Nah, it's not working. Trying to make anyone else the presenter doesn't.
Seems to work. Come. Maiwa,
Yes, I can hear you.
Maiwa. Yeah, I sent you a message. Did you see?
Yes, I
Can you
can hear
see?
you. I can hear you. Okay, okay.
No, I
I
sent
I,
you.
I I think I need to start sharing. Yeah, I can see. I can see a message. Okay, oh, you mean on the platform?
Yes,
I actually don't have it downloaded. Click on
in the chat.
this, okay. Yeah, yeah. I'm on the PC. I'm actually on the PC. Just hold on. Just hold on first.
All
Um,
right.
because I think right now I'm sharing my own screen. So let me try to make you the presenter. Okay. Yes. Okay. So are you the presenter now?
Yeah, I think I am now.
Yeah, great. So I think what I'm meant to do is that I'm meant to start sharing the screen. Then after sharing my screen, then I'll make you a presenter. So that's how. Even though that's a
Okay.
very weird way to build a software, I don't understand. Anyway, it's okay. So yeah, yeah. So
All
yeah. So you're welcome.
right.
You're welcome.
All right.
And
Thank you.
thank everyone for coming around. Okay. So I'll just mute myself now. Allow you to take the.
Okay. Thank you very much. So hello guys and good evening. Yes. So today we are going to be covering a couple of topics. I may move a bit fast. So please forgive me. I don't know what happened last week to happen where we could actually complete the classes. Can you all hear me clearly? Okay, cool. So now we are going to go through a couple of topics. We are going to go through Webpack. We are going to go through JavaScript classes. We are going to go through imports and exports as well. So let's start from and Babel as well. Let's start from imports and exports, then classes, and then we'll take it like that. So basically, when if you guys have noticed, there's something I like doing. That is, I like showing you a shorter way to actually write your code. Have you noticed I like doing that constantly? So the reason is this. Major reason is this. A shorter code is actually easier to maintain. It's easier to debug. When there is issues, it's easier to actually find. And then the execution time is also usually shorter than when you write something that is long. So yes, exactly. Less is more. Although that's a design term, it's not a programmer's term per se. But less, yes, less is more. So the major reason for this is this. Why it is still kind of okay for you, not no, it's not really okay, but why it's still kind of okay for you to not really bother about optimization now or writing shorter code is because you are still writing some very, as in maybe basic programs like basic apps. But when you start writing something large, like major apps, maybe like enterprise level apps and things like on medium level apps, like medium sized apps like that, you really need to start worrying about how long your code is and all those other optimization techniques. Now, why I'm saying this is this. JavaScript imports and exports just helps you modularize your code. What I mean by modularization is that it helps you separate your concerns. Like for example, now if I have a maybe if I have a banking application, for example, that I'm trying to write. Now, the part where I do my what do you call it? Okay, you need to start thinking about it like this. Maybe for example, let's take a banking application, for example. Now we have a banking application that can do things like deposits, that can do things like withdrawals. You can do things like what else again? Let's say you can do things like check balance and so on and so forth. Or let's just say you can do only these three things. Now, when I'm writing my code, normally a naive way or a beginner's way or something of doing this would be you could decide to just write your deposits, your withdrawals, your check balance in just one file. You can't see my screen. Can anybody else not see my screen? Is it just Henry or can anybody else? Is it affecting anybody else? Okay, Henry, maybe can you disconnect and connect again? Can you please disconnect and connect again? Now, a naive way of doing this would be to write your deposits, your withdrawals, and your check balance in just one file. That would work. It's not like it would not work. But when you're maintaining it, think about it. Let's say in this single file, I have okay, let me show you an example of something I'm working on. Let's say something like this. This is actually code I inherited, so it's not really me. If you see something really long coming. Now look at this file, for example. Can you all see? This file contains about how many? About 1060 lines of code. That is pretty long. And this one is still good compared to some things I've actually seen. I've actually inherited the code from an Indian guy that had about 30,000 lines in one file. And that was a nightmare. It was really terrible. So maintaining it, I had to start using Control F to actually find what I'm looking for. And it really wasn't pleasant. So it really wasn't pleasant. So separate your debt into a single file, separate your withdrawals into a single file, separate your check balance into a single file. Then you can import them, or you can then you can call for them whenever you want to use them in any other file. So that is the major reason why you need things like exports and imports. So it just helps you modularize your code. It helps you do things like writing a single function or a single functionality inside a single file, and then you can now call for it whenever you need it. So without much talk, let's go into some practical. Now, let's say, for example, let's just create something like a calculator. Maybe the calculator, like the one in our example, should have something like addition, subtraction, multiplication. Let's just stop with this alone. Yeah, something like that. Let's just stop here for now. Now, if I want to write this, I would one way of doing it would be to put my addition in a single file, my subtraction in a single file, and multiplication function in another file entirely. So let's just do that. Let me create a new folder called calculator. Now let me just name this one main. So this main, what I'm going to do here is this main is going to be my proper calculator itself. It's going to be the one that will do every calculation I want to do. Like this is where the main calculator would be. So now let me have the addition file. Let me have my subtraction file. No, let me just stop our addition for now. Now, let's say I want a function addition, and I want it to be able to add two numbers. or let me just say none. So, then I want it to do return plus none. So, let's just rename this. Let's now if I want to, this is a function. One way of using this would have been to maybe start using the function inside this very place itself, but that's not what we're trying to do. So in order for me to use this function in any other file, this addition function in any other file, I need to actually export it. So exporting it would show that I'm exporting this particular thing, that's this particular function from this file, and any other file can actually just call on this file and import what I'm exporting. Now, there are two types of import exports. There's a named export, and then there's an unnamed export or a default export. So the default export is usually the main export, the main thing you're exporting from this file. The others are the most, yeah, it's usually the main thing you're exporting from this file, and the other ones are just more or less like other things that you might need. So the default export is how do I put this? In a file, you can only export one default. Any other thing must not have that default. As in, you can export as many things as you want, but the default must always be just one. So look at this. If I want to export this function now, I could do it in two ways. I could just write the export default here. But, but I would have to remove all of this. So let me just say export default addition. And this will export it. So, but in a case where I know that this is the only thing I want to export from this file, I don't need to actually do it like this. I can just do this. I can just say export default like this. So it just depends on your coding style. If you prefer declaring it as a function first and then exporting it, fine. But one important reason why you might want to do it like this is that you might have a reason to use this addition inside this very file itself. Maybe you want to also use it for another operation within the same file. Then it wouldn't make sense for you to actually do the export default directly on this function because you still need it inside this file. But in the case where you don't, you can just put the export default here directly and you're good. Well, let's just test it. Now I've exported the addition. So inside there again, I can do export addition, import. Now, this is about exporting. When I want to import what I exported from this file, I can just do import addition from. Which file am I importing from? Arithmetic. So using this, I can do addition. Number 1, 2, 3. Okay. Again, the spirit of making the code shorter. Let's just do this. Hi, Otunde, is it better now? Hi, Otunde, is it better now? All right, good. So now I exported this addition from here, this addition function from here, and then I imported it here. Can you see that? Now let's use this. Sorry, I mean my IDE is acting up. Wow. So give me a minute. My VS Code is acting up. Kind of. I don't know. Sorry, my VS Code was acting up. I think we're back now. All right. So let's run this. Can I say no? No. Okay. Sorry. Sorry, guys. 1 minute. Give me a minute, please. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you see my screen now? All right. Cool. So it seems I'll have to actually go through the Webpack and the Babel first before we do the import and the export. So I'll come back to that. I'll come back to that. Once we are done with Webpack and Babel, then we'll come to this important export. There is a prerequisite for me to actually do this before. So let's continue. Sorry about that, but it has to go through another direction. Now, so basically, I'll start with Webpack, then I'll tell you about Babel, and then we'll probably go through some examples of how to configure Babel and Webpack. So let's start with Webpack. Now, think of this example we did yesterday. Can you guys remember it? This example of Axios we did yesterday. Do you guys remember this example of using Axios? Okay, cool. So if you remember, we actually let me just open the web page. Let me just open this web page. All right. So this is the example. Then when we click this, it can change when we fetch your information. Now, think about this. The only reason why Axios actually worked is because we used how do I put it? We linked to it. That's true to the CDN where Axios actually exists. We put it the script file. That's the source of this Axios file. We put it inside a source of the script. So that's the only reason why it worked. Now, if I remove this line and I try to make this work, you get an error. Axios is not defined. That means it cannot actually find this Axios. Are we all following? Please, I need a yes. Are we? Is everyone following? All right, cool. So if I remove this line, this line of this Axios, this code where Axios actually works is no longer going to work because the source of the file is no longer there. That's what is actually giving us Axios is no longer there. Like I said, look at that. If I remove it, it doesn't work. If I put it back, it will work. Now, that means you can say that this Axios, this page actually depends on Axios. So you can call Axios a dependency of this code. So what I'm trying to say in essence is this: there are situations where you actually need a particular JavaScript file or a particular library. This Axios now is what you call a library because it's a function somebody wrote and packaged and then allows you to actually use by referencing his own JavaScript file. So this Axios is actually a dependency in this case, which means without Axios, this code here won't actually work. So what Webpack does basically is this. Then another thing you should take note of is this. Look at the location of Axios here. If I should change it and I bring it here, that means my code comes first and then Axios comes next. Does anybody know what is going to happen? Can you just unmute your mic and tell me what do you think would happen if I do that?
The code won't still run.
It won't run. Why?
Hello. Because
It won't run. Why?
JavaScript will read from top to bottom, and when it gets to line 15, when it gets to line 18, sorry, when it tries to read that, it sees that it hasn't found anything of such above.
Okay, that's brilliant. Thank you. Like that's exactly the problem. So Axios, the positioning also matter because we are trying to use Axios and Axios does not yet exist when this code is going to run. Because this code is going to run before Axios. That's if I put Axios here, this code will run before Axios. So since Axios doesn't exist yet, this won't work. Let's just test it. Some reason it works. Okay. Look at this. There's a reason why this actually works. Okay, why this actually works is this. This code is asynchronous. That's this code right here is asynchronous. So by the time I click this button, Axios has already loaded. But if I do this, if I do this, there's going to be an error. Can you see that? Axios is not defined. The reason that one worked earlier is this. I'm using a button to actually fetch their information, which means by the time I click this button, Axios has already been loaded. So it is going to find Axios then. But if I remove the button click and I make Axios fetch from when the page is loading, by then Axios has not loaded yet. So there will be an error. So that was why it still worked. But let's just remove this then and let's use it for the purpose of this class. So like I was saying, if you do it this way as well, you get an error. So which means when you're including a JavaScript file, two things really matter. The position of the file you're including. If you're going to use code from the file above, if you're going to use code from this file, it has to actually come first before where you're using it. It's the same thing as when you declare a variable. You have to declare the variable first, or else you're going to get an error. So let's look at this. Now, I believe you guys understand what I'm trying to say here. So basically, to hoisting, in respect to hoisting, in what sense? In what sense? I don't know. I don't understand what you mean by. Actually,
Normally, when you declare a variable, like you can actually console log something on line 2 and declare the variable on line 1000 and something. With JavaScript, you definitely hoist all variables to the top before running scripts.
all variables declared using the keyword bar.
Yes.
Yes. So if it's not declared with var, it won't hoist.
Yeah, I'm talking with respect to var, to be precise.
All right. So we're good. So yes, what Webpack just actually does for you is this. It's what you call an asset bundler. Let me type what I mean. All right. I don't. Webpack is what you call an asset bundler. So it manages your assets for you. What do I mean by assets? I mean things like your CSS, your JavaScript, your images, things like that. Any static assets. So Webpack is a bundler. Like it bundles them for you, and then it packages them and makes sure they come with your application. So think about the situation I just showed you now about the Axios, about you needing to actually reference Axios before you have used the code. That's before you actually write anything from Axios. You need to reference it first. Now, Webpack can help you. Webpack can actually help you in those kind of situations. So what Webpack will do is that it's going to bundle everything together in the correct order in which it should come, and it's going to put them in one JavaScript file. And then you can reference only that one JavaScript file. So which means your JavaScript now, maybe your own personal JavaScript, like in this case now, this code you actually wrote here, your own personal JavaScript, or this code you wrote here, it will bundle your own personal JavaScript, and it will also bundle Axios as well. So it's going to bring Axios first. You don't need to actually worry about all these things. You don't need to worry about putting Axios first before your own code and all of that. When you're using Webpack, it bundles everything together, and then you can just make use of them without any issues. So let's jump into an example then. Then another thing it does is that things like images, for example, it can help you. Do you know that the bigger your image, the longer it takes your web page to actually load? So Webpack can help you in those kind of situations as well. You can reduce the size of an image and make sure that the smaller images are actually loaded and not something very big that will cause your page to increase its loading time. So basically, like I said, it's an asset bundler, and it helps you manage your dependencies. So it's a dependency manager. So now to make use of Webpack, let's go to their website. I'd like to show you a couple of things on there. So this is the Webpack website, Webpack.js, webpack.js.org. So it bundles your assets. Can you see it? It's used by a low lot of people like that. So to make use of Webpack, we need to install some things rather. So we need to install Webpack itself. Now, I already installed it, but I think I won't make use of the one I used before. I'll just take you through the process. So say you have a new JavaScript environment, something like this, and you wish to use Webpack. You're going to come to your terminal. And you're going to do. Sorry, have you guys learned how to set up a new Node.js environment? Like, have you learned how to use npm and things like that? That's Node Package Manager. You've not learned about it. Wow, that should have come before this class.
No. Hello.
Hey, Manuel.
Yeah, they've not gotten to that topic on the curriculum. And so they're meant to take like JS, basics of JS, and then after that they'll talk about Node.js. I think it starts on week 10 or thereabout. I'll confirm, but it's coming up
It's a
after they're done with
prerequisite.
understanding JavaScript. Huh?
It's actually a
Hello?
prerequisite for this. It's a prerequisite for this.
Okay, so was it in the curriculum that it's a prerequisite for it?
What I'm saying is the prerequisite for this is this. For them to actually be able to use Webpack, that's for you to be able to install Webpack,
Okay.
you need to use npm to do the installation.
Yes.
So if you've not learned how to use npm yet, I don't understand.
I get. I think it must be an issue with the curriculum because it should have been factored in. But I mean, you can just maybe go through npm with them so they can
No problem.
understand. Then when they get to the Node.js part, yeah, they can go into it deeply.
All right, no problem. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much.
So, here's what I'm going to say. Ayoze, can you please stop this? Yeah. So, let me just continue. Now, npm is what you call the Node Package Manager. So your Node.js ecosystem actually consists of a lot of libraries, a whole lot of libraries you can make use of. So what a package manager basically does is that it helps you manage those packages. Like, for example, now if I need maybe a library or a package that will do this calculating for me, I might not really need to write it myself. Someone else might have actually created something like that. All I need to do is go and look for what they created and make use of it. For example, Axios itself has an npm package, what we call an npm package. So it basically puts all the functionalities Axios has inside a library. Okay, basically, I think I should start from what a library is. A library is like a collection of functions. It's like a collection of functions that actually performs a certain functionality. For example, Axios is a library that helps you with performing HTTP requests. You can have something like Lodash. It's a library that helps you with some common functionalities you will need in JavaScript that maybe might not exist in JavaScript itself. So Babel is a library or an open source library that helps you with transforming your JavaScript, that's backdating your JavaScript. For example, every JavaScript you write now is ES6. Okay, I'll come back to that. Every code we're writing here using const, using lets and co, they are actually ES6 code, and they are not normally meant to work in older browsers. So your Babel, what it basically does is that it transpiles them and makes them work with older browsers. So what I mean by transparent is that it converts your ES6 code to code that can work with an older version of the browser, like that. So that's what basically what Babel does. It's also a library that does something like that. So the difference between a library and a framework is this: a library is just a set of functionalities, one or two functions. It's really not full featured. Whereby a framework is what is meant to help you build an application. For example, Laravel is a framework. And another thing, Laravel is a framework. Something like Sales.js is a framework, things like that. But React is a library, while Angular is a framework. So a framework is usually written over a particular language, and it's just meant to help you build your software faster. So that's basically what the library is. It's just a set of functionalities, it's a set of functions rather, that will help you perform a certain task. In the case of Axios now, if we're not using Axios, we would have had to use that XML HTTP request, and it's going to be longer. But as you can see, Axios is way shorter, and it just makes more sense to use. So npm is just a package manager that helps you manage those libraries. So if I wanted to install Axios now, for example, and I wanted to install it in a Node.js environment, all I need to do is make sure Node is installed on my system, on my PC. Once Node is installed, I can do something like this. I can just say npm install Axios. Once I press enter, it's going to load for a while. It will fetch Axios and it's going to install it. But before we continue with that, let's quickly do something. Now I'm not going to do that in this. Okay, let's just do it here. So for me to actually make use of npm, I need to do something called npm init. So can you see what happened? The Axios I installed earlier. This is it. Okay, I've not installed it yet. Sorry, hold on. Now, for me to actually make use of npm, I need to do npm init. So what npm init is this? It initializes npm and it gives me two files. It gives me this package.json file and it gives me this package lock.json. So this package.json file contains my configuration, my npm configuration. So this is the name of the app, the application. This is my current version. Just a simple description for the app. These are some scripts I would like to run. The GitHub repository I'm hosting my application on. The author, that should be me. The license, I'm releasing it under bugs, things like that. So there's something I would like to say at the end of this class about if you have questions for me on this project, please, someone should just remind me. Israel, can you unmute your mic and just tell me what are you asking? Like, does what need to be installed on every project?
Yeah, I mean, does is it Axios or what you're trying to install now? Is it that at every time in point when you want to initiate a new project, you have to install it, or is it one time installation?
No. If you need it on that, if you need it on any project, you definitely have to install it first.
Okay, so I was thinking it's maybe after you install it. I was thinking maybe it's after you install it once, then can use it every time on each project.
Okay, look at this is why you need to install it on this now. Look in this particular project now, all the files, like this project is a folder on its own. Do you get my point? Any other projects that you want to do, you are going to probably put them in another folder, Abby. So the files from another project, you can't actually see them in any other project you're doing. So there's no way for you to actually make use of them, those files from the previous project in your new project. That is actually why you need to install it. Do you get my point? But as long as it's inside the same project, you don't need to install it twice. You just need to install it once. But when you start another project entirely, you probably need to install it again. Do you get me, Israel? All right, cool. So in a car, you said this is like bootstrap. I don't understand. Can you unmute your mic and ask a question? Is what like bootstrap?
You've actually hello.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Yes, you've actually explained this to Israel, and I got what you said.
Okay, all right, that's cool. So I don't
Can you hear
want
me?
to. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, thank you.
What I meant Bootstrap. What I meant was like
So I can't hear you clearly. I can't hear you clearly. Can you come again?
CDNs, as you can copy the link and then you can download the. Can you hear me?
Okay, now I can hear you.
Hello.
I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Okay. Bootstrap. You can either copy the link
Uh, I'm finding it very difficult to hear you. Your voice is trailing off
or
after that.
download the zipped file.
Okay. That's the thing. Bootstrap itself is a library. It's also a library. It helps you be able to create designs very quickly. So you doesn't. Do you mean that is just like Bootstrap, or do you mean a library is a library like Bootstrap? That's what I'm trying to get. Okay, when you finish typing, we'll just now. I would like to actually make use of npm in a project. Yes, that's what we did here. That you copy the link. Yes, that's CDN. Can you see it? Axios, that's what we did here. This is a CDN actually. We're making use of it from a CDN as well. So yes, they are both libraries and they can both be installed in even Bootstrap itself. It has an npm package that you can actually make use of. You're welcome. Okay, so to if I want to use npm, that's that node package manager in a project, all I need to do is this. I need to just do npm init. It's going to ask me a couple of questions, like those things that you saw inside this configuration file. Can you see it? Things like my name, that's the package name. This is it. Things like what else? The version and things like that. It's going to ask me all those questions, and then when I finish filling them, it will create this file for me. But let's do it in another project. I don't want to tamper with what is here already because I'm still going to push it back to the repo. So now let me start a new project. Or let me just do it on my desktop. And let me just. So now, say I have this new test project, and I would like to maybe make use of Axios in this project. Or let's look for another library. We've been saying too much of Axios. So first things first, maybe I would like to create some things in this project. First things first, since I know I need npm, I need to do npm init. So there's going to be some description. Remember, before you can use npm, you need to have Node.js on that PC. If you don't have Node.js, you can't use npm. So the package name, let's just say level up. Okay, that's being small. Let's say level up. The version, let's leave it at 1.0. Now, another thing is this: the default versions are put inside the brackets for you. If you want to leave it the way it is, you can just do enter. Node is a runtime. It is neither a library nor a framework. It's a runtime environment, JavaScript runtime environment. So description, let me say, just for practice, entry points. If I want the default to be index.js, I can just leave it. Then test command. If I don't want to enter anything, I can just press enter. I can just press enter. I can just press enter. Let me say join or I write you. I can just press enter like that. So if you ask me, is this okay? If yes, I'll press enter. Can you see? Now, can you see what happened? It created this package of JSON for me. So let's look inside. What is there? The name of the name that I actually included earlier, level up, the version, the description I used just for practice, and then everything else, the author name as well. So that is when you want to use npm in a project. That's when you want to use the npm package manager in a project. So let's look for one small library to actually use. Let me see. So now, if you want to look for a library to use with npm, npm has a website. It is npmjs.com. Yeah, you can later edit it. We actually edit it in this webpack tutorial. So it is npmjs.com. Let me go to npmjs. It will open. Now, can you see? So you can search for any package you want. For example, let's search for Axios. Can you see it? So this is Axios. But we don't want to use Axios anymore. We've used it too much. So let's search for something like a quote engine. So what I'm looking for, or what I was looking for, was actually something that can generate quotes. Okay, so there are some really nice options here. This one is quotes.js, a simple way to include a list of quotes on your website. This one is quotes, a continuous stream of quotes for each day. Quote share, a command, a nice quote, like that, like that. So let's just look for quotes. If you don't know what you're looking for, you just press enter. It will give you a long list. Look at this now. Let's just use this one. Now, there is a documentation for any library here. So a continuous stream of quotes for each day. If you install it, if you want to install it, you're going to have to do npm install quotes, and then you can now make use of it. Like that, like that. But I think this one is a bit complicated. Let's use something simple. I'm reading description to find something really simple. That's why. Okay, let's say math. Let's go for the quote. Let me go. Okay, yeah, let's do this. Repeats this, for example, this library is called repeat string. It repeats, you are going to give it a string, and it's going to repeat those strings the number of times you want. So now, to use this, if you want to install it, what you need, if you want to use it, you need to install it. And to install it, this is what you're going to do. You are given the instructions here. If the instructions are not here, you can come to the side here. You see the instructions there. So now, to use it, we're going to, according to what they said npm install, you save repeat string. So that's is npm install. If you don't want to write install, you can say npm I. It's the same thing. Npm I or npm install. You can, if you don't want, you can, then you have to use save. If you don't use save, what happens is this package.json file will contain a list of any library, any npm package you actually install into this your application. So if you use save, it's going to save that the name of that file inside this package.json. Because when you want to use if you want to put this thing on a server now, where you want people to be able to access it, you don't really need to copy that file. You can just copy this package.json, and then the server will install all that it needs to install by itself. So that's what save is for. It's going to save the name of that file inside this package.json. Now, they say you should use save. If you don't want to use save as well, you can also use a shortcut S. capital letter S, hyphen and capital letter S like this. Then the name of the package is repeat string. Press enter. Can you see that? So it has finished installing repeat string. And if you look at this package.json, can you see it's saying dependencies repeat string 1.61? This is the version number 1.61 like that. Now, what happened is this: if this version number is the version number of our own code. The person that created this one himself also did this same thing with it. He created something like an npm module, and then he gave it a version number. That is why you are seeing this person's version number. The person also did these same steps. So now, as you can see, there's a node modules folder generated here. Right here, node modules. What this node modules folder does is this: the source code of the library I just installed will exist inside this node modules folder. If the library depends on anything else, it will also come into this node modules folder. So let's make use of the library, this thing we just finished installing. To make use of it, let me just say index.js. To make use of it, we can just do, we can so we require it. Then according to the documentation, they say if you want to make use of it, you do the require. Then you now call the function repeat. Like this. Then you can give it which string you want to repeat. Let me say doing, and I want to repeat it 2 times. So it's going to repeat it to see if the console log like this. Now can you see? It says doing. The package works. Any questions? Any questions? So can I continue now? All right, let me continue since there are no questions. Yes, MP is the same mode of installation for Windows users or even if it's Ubuntu, Linux, anything. It's the same way. There's no difference. That's one of the beauties of the npm package. As long as you have Node.js, it will work. So yeah, since we are clear on this, I think we can now go back to our Webpack. So to install Webpack, okay. All right. So as you guys saw what I just did now with the what do you call it, with the repeat string. According to Webpack's website, you're saying to install Webpack, you need to run npm install Webpack CLI, then save dev. So you should already understand what this means. The only thing that might look strange to you is save dev. I will explain that in a minute. So what I want you guys, first assignment I want you guys to do is to download and install Node.js. I'll put it in this. This one doesn't actually have a Mac. It's just for you to just play around with it. So the very first thing I want to do is download and install Node.js. When you are done installing Node.js, I want you to run npm init using any folder of your choice, and then go to the npm.js website and pick any library or package of your choice and just play around with it. I just want you to play around with everything is doing now. So that's an assignment. Let's continue with the class. Now, I want somebody to explain to me what is happening here. Like, just explain this line. You can leave out the save dev, but just explain this line. npm install webpack webpack. You can unmute your mic and just explain. Remember, no words or anything you say is stupid. You can say anything. If you don't fail in a class, if you don't actually try and make mistakes in class, it's not during maybe you when things are serious that you start making mistakes. So feel free, just say anything. Even if it's not correct, at least you tried. There's A for effort. So just say anything. What does this line mean? npm install webpack CLI. I said webpack is a okay. Someone say something.
Hello?
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I think it means that you should install the webpack command line.
Okay, because of the CLI.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yes, you're correct actually. But not just the webpack CLI. Now, they're actually what he's saying here is that he wants to install two different things. That's installing webpack itself and it's installing webpack CLI. So what this will do is to install it in my current project. Now, what save dev is for is that it is saying that the webpack that is going to install is not for it's not for production purpose. Like it shouldn't actually be copied to the server itself. It is only for when I'm writing the code. That's for development only. That's what save dev means. Well, if I use only save, it is saying that okay, this is a requirement for this code to be able to work when it's online in the server. But with save dev, it's just saying this is a development code. This thing should only be used in development only. Now, Sadiq said, what is webpack used for? Sadiq, are you just coming? Sadiq. Okay. I think you will actually have to listen to the video again later. Sorry. Because time is fast spent and we still have a couple of things to cover. Yes. So that's what this is going to do. So let's just test. You can just do copy, you can paste it here, you can press enter. Okay, no, not here. Save dev like this. And it's going to install this. Okay, it's going to take a bit of time, but since I already have it installed, there's no point in me installing it again. So by the time it finishes, if you look at your package.json, you'll see something like this: webpack or webpack CLI. It has installed both of them like that. Now, let's go through some code. Now, normally in previous versions of webpack, in webpack, things like webpack 2, for example, you needed to have a configuration file before webpack could actually work. But we are at webpack 4, version 4 right now. So one of the major selling points for webpack 4 is that you need zero configuration to make it work. So it has some assumptions that it has already made about your code. Now, the first assumption it has made is that the name, okay, first of all, let's do it this way. Let me just do it in the fresh list. I think it will make more sense. So let's install this. It has a couple of assumptions it has made about your code. Now, I think the first assumption is that the file in which your code, that's your JavaScript code exists in, is index.js. So now we're going to create two folders. The first folder is called dist. I'll explain what they're for. And the second folder is called src. That's the source. Now, src, that's the source folder, is where you are going to write all your code. While the dist folder is where the output of your code is going to be. Again, src is where you will write your code. The dist folder is where your output is going to be. So now, the first assumption is that your JavaScript code exists inside this file, index.js. Then the second assumption is that after it has finished performing its magic, that's after Webpack has finished bundling all your dependencies. The second assumption is that it's going to create a file called main.js, main.js, like this, main.js. And the file is going to be created inside this folder, dist. So this long form of dist is distribution. That means anything that is inside this distribution folder is what you are going to host on your website. That is the website itself. That's the final output. Now, let's test this. So, like I said, it assumes that your code exists inside this place. So now, Webpack. Let's use the same code we actually used earlier with the repeats. That's the repeat string. So normally, okay, let's use Axios. I think that is more familiar. Now, normally, if you want to use Axios, you have to do something like this. That you have to actually include this from a CDN. But with Webpack, because we don't want that situation of maybe forgetting to put Axios first, or maybe not even including it at all. We don't want it to happen. That's why we are trying to use Webpack in this case. So we want to actually bundle our code with all its dependencies. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to install Axios. Oh, yeah. Is that we're going to actually install Axios. So looking at, yeah, you looking at this, you can see that this is the first method, including it from the CDN. But we are going to use Webpack to actually use it this time around. So you can just do import Axios from Axios. So this is going to import Axios. Now let's just copy this code. Let's just copy this. So this is, now I'm going to change this a bit. I'm going to change this around a bit. I'm going to remove this. I'm just going to see document.body. Okay. So what I want to do now is this. If you can remember, what we did yesterday was that we created a div called contents and then we're putting our text inside it. But this time around, I want to put that element on the body itself. That's inside the body of the HTML itself. So I'm going to do documents.body inner HTML, and then I'm going to say, no, let's say append child. Then I'm going to say h1. So what this will do is that it creates a h1 element, that's a header one element, and then when the name of that Luke Skywalker name comes, it's going to give it to the h1 element, and then it's going to put the h1 elements inside the body of the web page we are going to create. So let me run this code here for you to see how it will work here. Then I'll continue with that one. So let me just replace this with this new code. So okay. Axios example. So do you guys understand what I did here? What I just did was I removed the button and everything, and then I used code to actually create my H1 element. Because if you remember, this is the way we did it yesterday. We had already created the H1 elements before. So let's just remove this. Our HTML doesn't contain any elements at all. Then we are going to use code to create the H1 element. That's the H1 header element. And then we're going to assign the name to it. Then we're going to put the H1 element inside the body. That is what we're doing now. So if I refresh this, can you see it? It worked. So I just use that to describe. Let's get back to what we were working on before. Now, but in the case of this one now, we are also going to have our index.html. That's the HTML file we're working with. This one. Then we're going to have our normally what we would have done is we would have included Axios the way we did here. From the CDN, we would have included it. But that's not what we're trying to do here. What we're trying to do is to use Webpack to package our application and its dependencies. So we won't include Axios the way we did this here. What we're going to do instead is this. I told you that Webpack makes some assumptions. For example, the first assumption is that your file, that's the file you're going to that contains your file, your JavaScript, is the index.js. Then the second assumption is that main.js is the output. Although you can make those changes, you can change it later. But I'm going to teach you the zero configuration way first. Then we'll go into the configuration way proper. So now, the only thing we're going to need to do here is, since we know that Webpack will create a main.js file for us, we can just include it. The file doesn't exist yet, but you see what I'm saying now, it will get included, it will get created by Webpack. Sorry, I need to install something. This Tesla, you don't actually need to install it. There is an error with Webpack currently. It just happened today. That's why I need to install this to make it work. But a normal day, you don't need it. It's not actually your own business. But for it to work now, I need to actually install it. So I think the situation will be resolved tomorrow, and then you wouldn't need to install it. Now, I've created my index.js file, and I've added my main.js. It has not been created yet, but Webpack is going to create it, like I said. So we are ready now. All we need to do now is we can actually run this Webpack in two ways. We can either do npx, then do Webpack. Enter. So can you see what happened there? The main.js file was actually created for us. This is what Webpack told us. It just gives us a couple of details about how long it took to create the app, to create that file, and some other things like that. Now, looking at the main.js file, if you look inside it, Webpack has taken that code, that small code you just wrote, this very small code you wrote here, and then it transformed it into this. Can you see it? It's not readable, but That's the point. You're not meant to be able to read it. So what Webpack did here is that it took the code and it made it into, it did what we call minification. That's it minified the code. So it made it smaller, both in size and it also made this. It also minified it so that people don't just be able to read your code anyhow and maybe copy and make use of it or do all these other things like that. Let me check. Let me show you something. Now this file is 15 kilobytes. This main.js file is 15 kilobytes. I expect this one to be bigger. Okay, this one is actually small. But well, like I said, it minified it. It made it smaller. It made the code more jumbled up. So your code is not just going to be picked up and used anyhow like that. Then minification is also good for when you're taking your app to production. So let's see if this app actually works. We've already included our index.js inside our main. So let's see if it works. If I don't click this, can you see that it actually works? Now, if you check the source of this page, if you check the source on this page, you're going to see index. This main.js here. It's not inspect. Let's check the source. View page source. Can you see that main.js that included there is there? If you open it, this is what you see inside. So this is what Webpack did. You just transformed your JavaScript, and then by it's included Axios on its own. If you notice, we didn't make any reference to Axios on the page. There is no reference to Axios on this page. The only thing we're referencing is our main.js. So you don't need to know about maybe you are bringing Axios first or you're bringing it last or all those things. You don't need to worry about it. Your Webpack has already done all the necessary things for you. All you need to do is pick up the file it produces and make use of it. Any questions, please? Any questions? If you don't understand or anything, just say it. Just ask. Feel free. Say anything. If there are no questions, I'll continue. All right, let's continue then, since there are no questions.
Hello, Loin. Can you hear
Yes,
me?
I'm listening.
Well, I don't really have a question, but I feel all this process you went through just now is somehow overwhelming. So for me, I didn't even get much of what it is, but I believe it's after we did it, some other practice, several times we will get it. But most of the procedure we went through is somehow confusing. I know we are beginners, so but I believe maybe in the main major class for this MPM, so maybe by then we will get it. That's just what I just want to say.
All right, that makes sense. That makes sense. So what I would like you to do is this. Look at this example here. Look at this place here. I'll post the link. So I already sent a couple of pre-reads that I meant to read before this class. So you can just go through it. Then you can also go through this as well. The link I just pasted. So it is just a basic example of how to use Webpack on this on their own webpage themselves. So you can just go through it anytime. Now, any other questions again? If anybody else needs clarification or anything, please just say it. Any questions? Because it wouldn't make sense for me to continue and you don't understand. That make control you others. Yeah, more or less. It's not the only one, Sha. There are other package and there are other bundlers. There are things like Gulp, there are things like what do you call itself? Bauer and Lex. So it's not the only one. So no more questions. We all understand. That's what I'm assuming now. That everybody understands.
Hello, Doi. Hello.
Yes. Kingsley,
Okay,
I can
my question has to do with My question has to do with npm and then the webpack.
Okay.
Okay, since you said webpack is asset manager, and
Yes.
then
Bundle, asset
npm
bundle.
is also a package asset bundle. Okay. And then npm is a package manager. I think both,
Manager.
sound the same to me. They are both
Yeah, no,
packaging something or bundling something.
they are not. They are not.
Okay.
The thing is, this, NPM is not an asset manager. It's a package manager.
Okay,
It's
okay, okay, okay,
a
okay.
package
Yes,
manager,
yes.
not a asset manager. That's the
Okay,
difference.
okay, okay. Thank you.
So no other questions? Can I continue then? All right, let's continue. Clone webpack from their repository and manage it at the time. So what are you asking that do you install? I mean, sorry, did I get the name right? I'm sorry. What are you asking that do you install for every project specifically? Are you asking that do you install webpack for every project? Can you just unmute your mic
Yeah,
and
yeah. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I installed it when I was trying to go through the assignment. I installed the web pack from I cloned it rather from their repository. So
Okay.
I was running it via the terminal and I'm doing something. So I was asking if I need to install for every project via the terminal or I just import it
Yes,
from my
you
project,
actually
from my web pack.
you need to install it from every project. The only thing is they might have a global. I don't know if they have a global. I don't know if they have a way for you to install their library globally. That's to install their library globally. If there's a way to actually do that, then you might not need to install it for every project.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes. So if
Thank
there's,
you.
well, I'm not actually certain about that. But if I'm to use it, this is how I normally just do it. I don't use the global way. So yeah, I believe everybody understands since nobody's asking questions. So now this is one way of actually using over. Okay, Ayosne, your question. Can we be fast to the questions, please? Time is fast spent.
Yeah, sure. I like for instance now this folder when you open it on your main system, the package.json file and package.log.json file will definitely exist.
Okay. When you open it,
Read the files to new project instead of always doing it from terminal.
sorry, I
Did you
can't
get
hear
me?
you. I know I can't hear you. Come again.
Yeah, I said for instance now when you open this particular folder on your system,
Yes.
package.json, package.log.json, everything will definitely exist in the folder. So copying the package.json file and package.log.json file into any new project, that should work. I'm only asking. Rather than always
It's
doing it
work.
from the terminal.
It's work. But you need to do npm install. That's npm I. If you don't do that, it won't work because it's going to when you do npm install, this node modules folder gets generated. So you need to actually do the npm install. Even if you copy it into a new project, you need to do that. Then another reason why I might not really advise you do that. That's another reason why I might not really advise you do this copying of the package.json. Fine, if you have a lot of modules you want to install, a lot of packages you want to install, okay, that would make sense for you to copy it. But I just like you doing it freshly because okay, yeah, that's not a problem. Because why I just like you doing it afresh is that so that it can get the newer versions.
Latest version. The
Yeah,
latest
the
version.
newer version. So that's why I prefer you don't copy. If there was something like this in front of it, this would have said you should get starting from this version and upwards. Did you see what I wrote? This symbol. But as you can see, look at all of them. There's none of them that actually has it. So this one will not upgrade it. If I just copy this package.json and take it to another file, even if there's a version 19 of Axios, it won't get updated. So it's better you just do the installations yourself rather than just copying the package.json. Except maybe the things you need to install are much, then you can actually just copy it. So I think that answers your question. All right, let's
Yeah,
continue.
sorry.
Okay.
On the copying of the package, because the experience me I have is that when you are installing something, there's a possibility that there might be some hidden files that are installed, while doing the installation. So I don't know if you decide to copy, wouldn't there be any hidden file that you'll be missing? You understand what I'm saying now?
No. That's why I said you need to do npm install. As if you copy it, if you in this case now we actually install through the terminal. So everything all the dependencies. That's why npm is a dependency manager. This, for example, now Axios itself, it is not only Axios might not depend on only Axios. It might depend on a lot of other things. Let me show you what I'm saying. Now, inside these node modules, I already said that everything that you need in your project, everything you need to install is installed inside these node modules. Now, and I also told you that the people that are creating this npm package, they also started this same way with the whole npm init and all of that. So if you go inside Axios, you can see that it also has its own package.json file. Now look at this. Inside Axios' package.json file, let's go to his own dependencies. So Axios depends on follow, redirects, and is buffer. If you look inside this node modules folder, you will see those two things as well. Can you see? This is follow, redirects. And then if you continue, you see the is buffer. This is is buffer. So those are the dependencies that Axios itself depends on. Now, what npm does is that it checks this package.json file and it checks for anything that your package or your library depends on. So it will not only install your library, it will install the library and everything it depends on. Because without those dependencies, your library won't work. Because if you were to do it yourself, do you know the number of packages you would have to start doing? You have to start doing npm install, follow direct, npm install is buffer, you get like that. And this one is even small. What Axios is important is small. Let me show you what Webpack. What Axios' dependencies are small. Let me show you what Webpack depends on. So let's go into the Webpack and see. Now look at what the Webpack depends on. Can you see the number of files? Can you see it? They are quite much. So npm will help you install both your package and everything depends on. That's his own job. So Alavi Docker says, what's his first main job? Is he used to bundle all modules together? Yes, exactly. He's used to bundle all modules together. So, like I said, I gave you an example earlier. I said in a situation where you need something like Axios, and I showed you that the order in which you include it actually really matters. So if you notice what we did here, we didn't even include it at all in our HTML. Can you see it? It's not even included at all. We only included it in our Webpack file and it worked. So you don't need to worry about your dependencies when you're using Webpack. It will bundle both dependencies and everything for you. It will make the reference for you automatically by itself. So that is one of the beauties. That's one of the major reasons Webpack does. Okay, let's continue. All right. So the next thing is we want to configure Webpack and Babel. Okay, like I said earlier, I said another thing Webpack would do for you is that it can also help you shit. Right, sorry. Are you telling me can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Temitope? Is it only Temitope that can hear me, or is there anybody else that cannot hear? All right, cool. So I said another thing that Webpack does is that it can help you also manage your CSS. You can manage your images, and you can manage any static assets. Can you see? You can manage your fonts as well for you. Now, that's why they call it an asset bundler or an asset manager. So how it does that is that it does it through something called a loader. So basically, a loader is what you use to load assets, other static assets that are not JavaScript. Because by default, what Webpack can only do is that it can only help you bundle your JavaScript and your JSON files. So for you to be able to use Webpack to bundle your CSS and your images as well, you need to use a loader. So for CSS, it uses a style loader and a CSS loader. For images, it uses a file loader. For fonts, it uses a file loader as well and things like that. But time is gone. You can just read up on it on their website. So let's just continue with Babel. Now, for you to use Webpack with Babel, you need what we call Babel loader. So what we're going to do now is we're going to actually configure Webpack to work with Babel. So again, we're going to be using npm. So to install npm, and to install, what we're going to be installing is quite much. We're going to be installing the Babel loader. We're going to be installing Babel core, Babel preset environment, and then Webpack. But since we already have Webpack, let's just install the other ones. Now, remember the way we had shortcuts for save and the way we had shortcuts for install. We also have a shortcut for save dev, and that is just this D. So here we're installing Babel loader. I told you about that. Webpack can only work with JavaScript, and that's why we need loaders. So we're installing the Babel loader. We're installing Babel itself. That's this Babel core. And we're installing the Babel preset environment. So in the file I will be uploading today, what I showed you is the default configuration of how Webpack will work. But if I want to, maybe for example, I don't want to use index.js as the file as my as where my code will existing, and I also don't want maybe main.js to be where the output will go. I can change that using a Webpack configuration file. So that's what this Webpack config.js is for. So now I told it that my new entry, I don't want it to be the index.js that is here. I want it to be an index.js that is inside this Webpack folder. So now instead of looking for just index.js, to be looking for index Webpack, SRC, and index.js. So it's going to be Webpack source index.js. And then the output is going to I'm leaving the output as main.js. And then I'm saying that it should store that output inside Webpack /dist, which is this place. So I'm just telling you this because the configuration will look the folders won't work exactly as I put them inside this. But I don't want to just leave them. I don't want to just I don't want everything to be rough. That's why I'm doing it this way. So it has finished installing the Babel loader, the Babel core, and Babel preset environment. Do we all I want this time around, I actually want people to say something. Do you guys understand anything I'm saying at all? Because there's no point of the whole thing if you don't understand. Fine, you can go and read up later. But there's really no point to this whole class if you guys don't understand, and I just continue just like that. Adeyinka is laughing. Do you understand? Exactly. Exactly. Thank you, Maiwa. We'll need up to that too. Because if there's no response, there's no this thing, it doesn't make sense. So we just continue. No, thank you, Adenka. That's a no. I think I'm talking about some examples. Those are just examples in the folder you cloned. So anybody else apart from Adenka?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
I think for me, where I'm having issues now is those folders name you're calling, the web config, the webpack config, those things. I think you need to explain those folders for a bit more.
Okay. Now, I told you that by default, Webpack makes some assumptions. So the thing is this: what Webpack is basically doing for you is that it is taking your own JavaScript and it is converting it, like it is bundling it along with any dependency it has. An example of a dependency is Axios, because without Axios, your code will not actually work. You can't actually fetch that the information you need from that API the way we did it yesterday. Okay. Usually that's understandable. The concept or the process, that's understandable. I'll come back to it. Then. So now I said there's instances where you can make a mistake. Like maybe you need Axios, but you forgot to include it, or maybe you included Axios after your main file itself, after where you need to use Axios. So in that case now, your code will not work because there will be an error. So basically, what Webpack does for you is that it bundles your own code along with any dependency it has for it to actually be so that it can actually work without any problems. You don't need to start worrying about things like I didn't include Axios or I included Axios the wrong way or things like that. You don't need to worry about all those things. Webpack will just bundle everything together for you and make it work. Now, I now said you need two folders. They are not the only folders you might need more folders. You might need more folders to include more things. But basically, to make it work, you need two folders. The first one should be a source folder. That is where your raw code that has not been transformed, that's where it will exist, a source folder. And the second one is a dist folder. That's your distribution folder. That is where the output of what Webpack will do is going to stay. The distribution folder. So when you want to host your website itself, the things you host are things that exist inside this distribution folder because that's like the finished goods. It's like you took something to a maybe you want to make bread, for example. It's like you put something in an oven and then you are going to take bread out. You are going to put things like flour in an oven, then you take bread out. So this SRC folder is like the flour, Webpack is the oven, and then this distribution folder is the end product that you can actually now sell to people. You can eat if you want. So this SRC, like I said, is where your code will exist. And if you notice, that's what I did here. I put the code, the raw code itself inside this SRC folder. And then I said Webpack by default makes some assumptions. The first assumption is that your source code exists inside this index.js file. That you must have a file inside this SRC folder called index.js. That's the first assumption it makes for you. Then the second assumption is that the output will always remain .js and it will exist inside this distribution folder like that. So if you notice, I didn't tell Webpack where to find my index.js, and I didn't tell Webpack where it should put the main.js. It did it automatically by itself. Did you notice that? Let's do this. Let me just delete this guy. Can you see that by itself automatically it created that dist folder? So it's your file. That's the output must be in a disk folder and it must be called main.js. Did you get that? Kingsley, did you get that? Can you see? He created it itself, even though I created it. So now say if you
Yes,
don't want it
yes.
to work like that, maybe you have a different you want it to work in mind. Eh? That is when you need to create something like this, webpack.config. It is a configuration file that is going to tell Webpack it should start from, and the name of the output, the file output, then where it should store the output. So it does more than that, but that's the basic configuration you need. If you have more than one JS file, now that's another thing entirely. It's not a topic for this class, but you can just go through this thing. But basically, what is assumed, what Webpack assumes is this. It assumes, do you know what? Let's just test it. But what I feel is going to happen is that Webpack is going to combine all your code. That's all of your JavaScript. If you have multiple JavaScript files, it's going to combine everything and it's going to put it inside this folder as main.js. Exactly, into one main.js file. So you're just going to include that one file and everything works. But it can be configured. You can configure it not to work like that. Depends on you. So this webpack.config file is just saying that the entry point, that is where my source code is index.js. The output should be called main.js. And it should store it inside webpack /dist. Now, I created a folder called webpack here. I put my src.js there. Can you see the entry? If I can decide to change this and name it something else. The only thing is I have to change it here too. Then I can decide to say, okay, I don't want my output to be main.js. I can decide to say I want it to be output.js. Now remember, this thing is not npm. This one here is not npm. It is npx, not npm. Npx. Npm is your package manager. npx is different. So if you are looking inside my dist, can you see it? Output.js. Exactly. So that is what is happening. But I noticed something. It is only a couple of people that are talking. Everybody else is just silent. I should have gone past this topic, but I want to be sure we all understand this. That's why I'm still dwelling on it. And time is already gone. So let's just take Babel. Is there anybody else that doesn't understand? Yes. No, not npm. Do you know what? Don't even use webpack. Don't use npx. Don't use npx. Let's do it this way. Now, this is what I want you guys to do. If you want to run webpack, that's if after you are done with your coding and you actually want to do it, come to your package.json file. Under script, that's under this place. Do command like this, then include something else and you can just give it name build and just write webpack like this. Now, instead of using npx, you can just do npm run build. Can you see? It also works as well. So don't mix up npm and npx. They are two different things. So this will also work. It's inside the repository. I'll push it, then you guys can look at it. Okay, thank you. So, Maiwa,
Yes.
do we have time to continue? It's already 6:58.
Yeah. So the thing, what I think is, the concept is a little bit new and maybe a bit far fetched for some of their level. So we
Okay.
can stop here, and I'll discuss with the coordinators about the topic. Perhaps you have to shift it forward a little bit or something like that.
Okay.
So, but I'll discuss with that and then we'll get back to everyone via email. And if necessary, to also get back to you. But you can run off the class. Well, before that, the assignments for yesterday, I think they meant to submit it yesterday, right?
I'm not certain actually. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Daniel just have
Okay.
to give me. I
Okay.
really don't.
Did you uh, do you have any assignment again for today?
The only thing I want is probably okay. Maybe everybody should just go through this web pack thing. Like go through the website I dropped, the web page, the web pack page I dropped. Then follow the example. And I want everybody to just follow the example, create what is on that page, and host it on your own Git repository. Let me see how well you guys can do that.
Okay, no problem. All right.
So I sorry, one
So
more thing. If you need
okay.
to reach me later, you can either reach me on Twitter or you can reach me on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Now somebody just asked that. So that's what I'm saying. You can reach me on Twitter, you can reach me on
Okay.
LinkedIn.
Okay.
I'm active on both
Okay.
platforms.
Okay. All right. Also, somebody asked a question. Okay, so I'll try to resolve the assignment issues to know how assignments are meant to be collated and also how they're meant to be graded. So, and the way to submit the grades because those are pretty important stuff.
Okay.
So,
I'm still grading the small ones actually.
you're still grading.
There are some that I'm still grading. I should be done by maybe tonight, if no more. Then I'll post the result.
So, assignment from the past. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, there's no problem. Ayotunde, what's this issue about data? Is the academy meant to give you data? I don't understand. Okay, yeah. So, okay, Moronke, I'll note that down. The videos for the class. Okay. Akintunde, please. Can you clarify the data issue? Data, please. Are you meant to be giving data? Amarachi, on Slack. I've not gotten a Slack invite yet. I'll talk to them about it. Okay.
All
Oh,
right.
okay. Yeah.
Am I free to go then?
Yes, you can go. I'll just round off with them.
All right. Today you can message me anytime. Just not tonight though. I'm going to watch the match. Message me anytime.
Okay. Okay. So you said you get data every month. All right. There's no problem. So I'll discuss that with them. Yeah. So I'll discuss that with them. So I'm just getting into the flow of the whole thing. So I believe with time I'll blend in with the system properly, and everything will go even um, more smoothly than this. Okay. Does anybody have any question for me? Guys, you can unmute your audio and speak. There's no problem. So you can unmute your audio and speak. If you want to say anything at all, so that we can all discuss.
Mr. Maiwa,
Yeah, go ahead,
hello,
please.
please, everyone. I actually think that if possible,